In this video, I am going to be talking about 10 great games that slipped under the radar, no one bought, or are just very underrated. So let's look at the first game on our list. The Saboteur. Alright, let's kick off our list of 10 great games no one bought with the Saboteur. This game flew under the radar for many, but it's a hidden gem worth checking out. In The Saboteur, you play as Sean Devlin, an Irish race car driver turned resistance fighter in Nazi-occupied France during World War II. The story is gripping, filled with action, revenge, and a personal vendetta against the Nazis. What makes The Saboteur stand out is its unique art style. The game starts in a bleak black and white Paris symbolizing the oppressive Nazi occupation. As you liberate areas and complete missions, color gradually returns, representing hope and freedom. It's a cool visual touch that makes your progress feel impactful. The gameplay is a mix of open world exploration, stealth, and combat. You can climb buildings, sneak past guards, and sabotage enemy operations. The game gives you a lot of freedom to approach missions in different ways, whether you prefer going in guns blazing or taking a more stealthy route. The world of The Saboteur is rich and detailed. Paris and the surrounding countryside are beautifully recreated, with plenty of iconic landmarks to see and explore. There are tons of side missions and collectibles that add to the game's depth and replayability. One of the best parts of the game is the variety of missions. You'll be doing everything from planting explosives and assassinating key targets to engaging in high-speed chases and rescuing prisoners. Each mission feels fresh and exciting, keeping you engaged throughout. Despite its unique style and engaging gameplay, The Saboteur didn't get the attention it deserved when it was released. It's a game that offers a lot of fun and excitement but flew under the radar for many players. If you're looking for an underrated game with a great story, unique visuals, and plenty of action, The Saboteur is a must-play. It's a fantastic adventure through a beautifully realized World War II setting that you'll thoroughly enjoy.
One day you'll have to tell me how you came by these scars.
The Surge. This game is a fantastic blend of action and RPG elements that didn't get the spotlight it deserved. In The Surge, you play as Warren, a new employee at a tech company called Creo. After a catastrophic event, you find yourself in a dystopian future filled with rogue robots and deranged ex-employees. The story is dark and intriguing, exploring themes of corporate greed and technological advancement gone wrong. What sets The Surge apart is its unique combat system. It's often compared to the Dark Souls series because of its challenging tactical combat, but The Surge adds its own twist with a focus on targeting specific body parts of enemies. You can choose to attack an enemy's armored parts to potentially gain new gear, or aim for unarmored spots for a quicker kill. It's a strategic layer that makes every fight engaging and rewarding. The game's world is industrial and gritty, with detailed environments that tell the story of Creo's downfall. Exploring the facility, you'll find hidden paths, shortcuts, and plenty of secrets that encourage thorough exploration. The level design is smart and interconnected, giving you a sense of progression as you unlock new areas. The Surge also has a deep crafting and upgrade system. As you defeat enemies, you can collect parts to upgrade your gear and craft new weapons. This adds a satisfying loop of combat, collection, and improvement that keeps you hooked. The gear you collect isn't just for show, it significantly impacts your playstyle and strategy in combat. The enemies in The Surge are varied and challenging. From smaller drones to massive, heavily armored foes, each encounter requires you to adapt and think on your feet. Boss battles are a highlight, offering intense multi-phase fights that test your skills and patience. Despite its solid gameplay and unique mechanics, The Surge didn't achieve mainstream success. It's a game that offers a lot of depth and challenge but didn't get the attention it deserved. If you're a fan of challenging action RPGs with a unique twist, The Surge is definitely worth playing. It's a hidden gem that combines strategic combat, deep customization, and an intriguing dystopian world. Give it a try, and you might find yourself hooked on its relentless and rewarding gameplay. Psychonauts. Alright, let's talk about Psychonauts, one of the quirkiest and most imaginative platformers you've probably never played. This gem, developed by Double Fine Productions, takes you on a wild ride inside the minds of some seriously eccentric characters. You play as Roz, a young psychic acrobat who runs away from the circus to join a summer camp for psychic spies in training. Sounds bonkers, right? Well, it totally is in the best way possible. Psychonauts is packed with creative level design, each one reflecting the inner world of a different character. You'll find yourself navigating everything from a giant board game to a twisted 1960s inspired mindscape. The humor is top-notch, with clever dialogue and bizarre scenarios that'll keep you entertained throughout. Now, you might be wondering if it's so good, why didn't it sell? Well, despite its critical acclaim, Psychonauts struggled with marketing and visibility upon its release in 2005. It was a bit ahead of its time and gamers just didn't know what to make of it back then. Plus, it launched on the original Xbox, which was still finding its footing in the market.
Oof. Raz, I'm sorry, but that's not how you...
But hey, it's never too late to dive into this cult classic. Whether you're looking for a game with a unique story, unforgettable characters, or just some good old-fashioned platforming fun, Psychonauts has got you covered. Give it a shot, and you'll see why it's a masterpiece that deserved way more love.
Thanks, man.
Okami. Alright, let's dive into Okami, a game that's like stepping into a beautiful watercolor painting. Developed by Clover Studio and released in 2006, Okami is an action-adventure game that's as visually stunning as it is unique. You play as Amaterasu, the Japanese sun goddess who takes the form of a white wolf. Your mission is to restore life and color to a world that's been overrun by darkness. What makes Okami so special is its incredible art style. The game looks like it's been drawn with traditional Japanese ink wash painting techniques, and it's truly breathtaking. The world is filled with lush landscapes, ancient temples, and vibrant villages, each more beautiful than the last. It's like every frame of the game could be hung on a wall as a piece of art. The gameplay is just as creative. You use a celestial brush to paint on the screen, which lets you perform various actions like slicing enemies, repairing the environment, and even changing the time of day. This brush mechanic is so intuitive and satisfying to use. It's like you're directly interacting with the world in a way that feels both natural and magical. I remember the first time I drew a bridge to cross a river, or made a tree bloom with a simple stroke. It was just pure joy, man. But Okami is more than just a pretty face. The story is deeply rooted in Japanese mythology and folklore, which gives it a rich cultural depth that's hard to find in many games. The characters you meet along the way are quirky and memorable, each with their own backstories and personalities that make the world feel alive. From the bumbling warrior Susanoo to the tiny but fierce Asun, your pint-sized companion, every interaction adds a layer of charm to the game. Despite its beauty and innovation, Okami didn't sell well initially. Released at the tail end of the PlayStation 2's life cycle, it was overshadowed by the excitement surrounding next-gen consoles. Plus, its unique style and gameplay didn't get the attention they deserved in a market dominated by more mainstream titles. It's a real shame because Okami is a game that deserves to be experienced by everyone. For me, playing Okami was like a breath of fresh air. It's not just a game, it's a work of art. The story is compelling, the music is enchanting, and the gameplay is engaging in a way that few games manage to achieve. If you're looking for something different, something that's both relaxing and exhilarating, Okami is a must-play. Trust me, you won't regret diving into this beautiful mythical world. Sunset Overdrive. Alright, let's talk about Sunset Overdrive, one of the most colorful and chaotic games you might have missed. Developed by Insomniac Games and released in 2014, this action-adventure game is an absolute blast. You play as a customizable character in the vibrant and crazy city of Sunset City, which has been overrun by mutants after a contaminated energy drink turns its consumers into monsters. Yeah, it's as wild as it sounds. One of the first things that grabs you about Sunset Overdrive is its style. The game is bursting with bright colors and has a punk rock aesthetic that's super refreshing. It doesn't take itself too seriously, which is a big part of its charm. The humor is on point, filled with tongue-in-cheek jokes and pop culture references that'll keep you laughing as you play. But what really sets Sunset Overdrive apart is its gameplay. It's all about movement. You grind on rails, bounce off cars, and wall run like some kind of caffeine-fueled superhero. The traversal is so smooth and satisfying that you'll find yourself moving just for the fun of it. And then there's the combat. It's fast, frenetic, and ridiculously over the top. You've got a crazy arsenal of weapons, from explosive teddy bears to vinyl record launchers, each more insane than the last. Despite all these awesome features, Sunset Overdrive didn't sell as well as it deserved. Released exclusively for the Xbox One at a time when the console was struggling against its competitors, the game didn't get the audience it needed. Plus, its zany style and over-the-top action might have been a bit too much for some players. Personally, I think Sunset Overdrive is one of the most fun games I've ever played. It's like the developers just wanted to create a game that was pure, unadulterated fun, and they nailed it. The story is wild, the characters are memorable, and the gameplay is so exhilarating that it's hard to put down. If you're tired of the same old, and want something that's bursting with creativity and energy, give Sunset Overdrive a shot. You won't be disappointed.
In 2072, a rogue artificial intelligence known as
System Shock 2. A game that's a true classic but sadly flew under many gamers' radars. Developed by Irrational Games and Looking Glass Studios and released in 1999, this first-person action RPG is a masterclass in atmosphere, storytelling, and gameplay. In System Shock 2, you find yourself aboard the Starship Von Braun, which has been overrun by a deadly alien presence and rogue AI. You play as a soldier who wakes up from cryosleep to find the ship in chaos. From the moment you step into the game, you're immersed in a creepy, claustrophobic environment that keeps you on edge. The blend of sci-fi, horror, and RPG elements is executed brilliantly, making every corner you turn feel like a new challenge or a potential scare. What sets System Shock 2 apart is its deep and complex gameplay. The game combines RPG mechanics with survival horror, which means you'll be managing your resources carefully, upgrading your skills, and making tough decisions on the fly. The progression system is incredibly satisfying, allowing you to customize your character in ways that suit your playstyle, whether that's hacking security systems, engaging in combat, or using psionic powers. The story, driven by the sinister AI Shodan, is gripping and keeps you hooked from start to finish. Shodan is one of the most memorable villains in gaming history, and her chilling voice and twisted plans make for a truly compelling antagonist. The narrative unfolds through audio logs and environmental storytelling, which was revolutionary at the time and adds a layer of immersion that's hard to beat. Despite its groundbreaking design and critical acclaim, System Shock 2 didn't achieve commercial success upon its release. Part of the reason was its timing. It launched during a period of intense competition and was somewhat overshadowed by other big titles. Additionally, its complex mechanics and challenging gameplay might have been intimidating to some players. For me, System Shock 2 is a game that every fan of sci-fi or horror should experience. It's a game that rewards exploration, critical thinking, and careful planning. The atmosphere is thick with tension, the story is captivating, and the gameplay is deep and rewarding. If you've never played it, you're in for a treat. It's a game that has influenced countless others and remains a shining example of how to do survival horror right.
My fellow kindred.
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Alright, let's sink our teeth into Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, a game that's as dark and complex as the world it's set in. Developed by Tracit Games and released in 2004, this action RPG plunges you into the seedy underbelly of vampire society in Los Angeles. You play as a newly turned vampire navigating the treacherous politics and supernatural dangers of the night. One of the most striking things about Bloodlines is its deep and immersive world. Based on the tabletop role-playing game, the game faithfully recreates the gothic punk atmosphere of the source material. The city is divided into several hubs, each with its own distinct vibe and secrets waiting to be uncovered. The characters you meet are incredibly well written and voiced, adding layers of intrigue and drama to the story. The gameplay in Bloodlines is a blend of first-person and third-person perspectives, allowing for a mix of combat, stealth, and dialogue. You can choose from different vampire clans, each with unique abilities and powers that drastically affect your playstyle. Whether you're charming your way through conversations as a Toreador or wreaking havoc with brute strength as a Bruja, the game offers a lot of freedom in how you approach its challenges. The story is another highlight. It's filled with twists, moral dilemmas, and memorable characters. The choices you make have significant consequences, leading to multiple endings and ensuring that no two playthroughs are exactly the same. It's a narrative-driven experience that pulls you in and doesn't let go. Despite its brilliance, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines was plagued by a troubled development and released with numerous bugs and technical issues. This, coupled with poor marketing and the dominance of other big titles at the time, led to disappointing sales. However, the game's passionate fanbase has since patched many of the bugs, and it's now considered a cult classic. For me, playing Bloodlines was an unforgettable experience. The atmosphere, the story, the characters, everything comes together to create a game that feels genuinely unique. It's dark, it's gritty, and it's filled with moments that'll stay with you long after you've put the controller down. If you're a fan of vampires, RPGs, or just great storytelling, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines is a game you need to play. It may not have been a commercial success, but it's a masterpiece in its own right.
Some of them call me
Enslaved Odyssey to the West. Alright, let's talk about Enslaved Odyssey to the West, a game that beautifully blends action, storytelling, and a post-apocalyptic setting. Developed by Ninja Theory and released in 2010, this game takes you on an epic journey inspired by the ancient Chinese novel Journey to the West. You play as Monkey, a strong and agile warrior who's teamed up with Trip, a tech-savvy young woman, as they navigate a dangerous world filled with hostile robots and crumbling ruins. One of the first things that strikes you about Enslaved is its stunning visuals. The game's world is a vibrant, overgrown dystopia where nature has reclaimed the remnants of human civilization. It's both beautiful and haunting, with detailed environments that draw you into the story. The character design is equally impressive, with motion capture performances that bring Monkey and Trip to life in a way that feels real and emotionally engaging. The gameplay is a mix of platforming, combat, and puzzle solving. Monkey's agility allows you to climb and swing through the environment with ease, while his combat skills let you take on groups of enemies with fluid and satisfying moves. Trip, on the other hand, provides tech support, hacking into systems, and offering strategic advice. The dynamic between the two characters adds depth to the gameplay, as you need to rely on each other to survive.
Are you okay?
The story is another standout aspect of Enslaved. It's a character-driven narrative that explores themes of freedom, trust, and survival. The relationship between Monkey and Trip evolves throughout the game, with excellent voice acting and writing that make their journey compelling.
Oh, so horrible, I can feel it breathing! Come on! Monkey's right there, it's coming! Come on!
Despite its strengths, Enslaved Odyssey to the West didn't achieve the commercial success it deserved. Released during a crowded fall season, it was overshadowed by other major titles. Additionally, its unique blend of gameplay and storytelling may not have immediately appealed to a broad audience. For me, Enslaved is one of those hidden gems that truly deserves more recognition. It's a game that combines beautiful visuals, engaging gameplay, and a heartfelt story in a way that few games manage to do. If you're looking for an adventure that's both thrilling and emotionally resonant, give Enslaved Odyssey to the West a try. The Evil Within 2. Alright, let's talk about The Evil Within 2. This game, developed by Tango Gameworks and released in 2017, is all about survival horror. You play as Sebastian Castellanos, a former detective who's had a pretty rough time. He lost his daughter but gets a chance to save her, which means diving back into a creepy alternate reality called STEM, filled with all sorts of nasty creatures and psychological terrors. First off, this game nails the horror vibe. The environments are super eerie, think abandoned towns and otherworldly nightmares.
No! You didn't save me!
It's not just about running and gunning though. You have to be smart with your resources because ammo is limited. Sometimes it's better to sneak past enemies than to confront them head on. This makes every encounter feel tense and strategic. The semi-open world structure is a nice touch. You can explore different areas, looking for supplies and uncovering secrets. The game also lets you upgrade Sebastian and his gear so you can play the way you want. The controls and mechanics feel solid, making both combat and stealth satisfying. The story is pretty gripping too. Sebastian's quest to save his daughter adds a lot of emotional weight to the game. There are plenty of twists and turns to keep you hooked, and the characters are well developed. Despite being such a great game, The Evil Within 2 didn't get the attention it deserved when it came out. It was released around the same time as a bunch of other big games, and the first game had mixed reviews, which probably didn't help. For me, The Evil Within 2 is a standout horror game. It's not just about cheap scares, it builds a creepy atmosphere that keeps you on edge. If you're into horror games or just want something that'll keep you glued to your screen, you've got to give this one a try. It's one of those hidden gems that'll stay with you long after you finish playing. Prey. Alright, let's chat about Prey, a game that's all about exploring, surviving, and a whole lot of weirdness. Developed by Arcane Studios and released in 2017, this first-person shooter is set on a space station called Talos I, where things have gone horribly wrong. You play as Morgan Yu, a scientist trying to figure out what the heck happened while dealing with some seriously creepy alien creatures called the Typhon.
First, you need to get out of your apartment building. You're not safe.
First off, Prey looks amazing. The Art Deco design of Talos I is both stylish and eerie, creating a unique atmosphere that pulls you in from the get-go. The space station feels like a real place with its own history, filled with nooks and crannies to explore. And trust me, you'll want to explore every inch because there's so much to find, from hidden rooms to personal logs that tell the stories of the station's crew. The gameplay is where Prey really shines. It's got this cool mix of action, stealth, and RPG elements. You can choose how to tackle each situation, whether you want to go in guns blazing, sneak around, or use your brain to solve problems. The Typhon enemies are super interesting, especially the mimics that can disguise themselves as everyday objects. It keeps you on your toes because you never know if that coffee cup is really a coffee cup. You also get a bunch of powers and upgrades through something called neuromods, which let you develop abilities from hacking and repair to some freaky alien powers. It's all about finding your playstyle and experimenting with different approaches. The story is another big win for Prey. It's full of mystery and intrigue with plenty of twists to keep you guessing. As you uncover more about the Typhon and the events leading up to the disaster on Talos I, you get deeper into the narrative, which is both gripping and thought-provoking. Plus, the game offers multiple endings based on your choices, giving it some solid replay value. Despite all these great features, Prey didn't get the love it deserved when it launched. It came out at a time when other big titles were dominating the scene and it kind of got lost in the shuffle. But it's definitely a game worth checking out. Prey is one of those underrated gems that offers a rich, immersive experience. It's a game that rewards curiosity and creativity, making you think about every move you make. If you're into sci-fi horror or just love a good story with deep gameplay mechanics, you need to play Prey. It's a fantastic ride that'll keep you hooked from start to finish.